What's going on, guys? I'm Bill and welcome to Bill's How To. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to remove a sliding cavity door, how to reinstall it, and also how to adjust it. Let's get straight into it, guys. Let's do this. So I need to replace this door here today because, as you guys can see, it's got a nice little hole in there. Now this one here does open and close nice and smooth, so we've got no issue here with our track and our carriers. As we close it, you can see there the bottom lines up, the top's got a big gap, and as we let go of that, it starts to open up automatically. So the reason why it's doing that is simply because it's not level, so we're going to adjust that as well. The first thing we need to do is actually gain access to our carriers. Now our carriers, usually there's two carriers. There's one I can barely see right here, and there's one at the back. The way you get access to this here is by simply removing this little filler panel. Now you might not notice it, but there's a little filler panel. Sometimes on both sides. You can see here we've got one on the outside, one on the inside. Generally it doesn't matter which one you take off, but just double check. Make sure that you've got enough clearance on both sides, which we do in this case here. So we're going to take it off from the inside here. So to remove the filler panel, the first thing you want to do is take a sharp utility blade and you just want to break the seal of the paint. So this little filler panel here is obviously sealed to all the surrounding area with paint. So just take a sharp utility blade, break that seal all the way around. Most of the time you'll get pretty lucky. If you break the seal, you'll be able to put it back in without having to repaint or touch up. However, I'll be painting this anyway, so I'm not too concerned, but just for your sake, if you run a nice sharp utility blade all the way around, this seal here is already broken. So once we've got that done, we need to remove the caps. The way that I like to remove the caps is by using just a regular flat utility blade like this one here, or a razor blade. Pop that underneath because it's nice and thin, and carefully remove that little cap there. So you can see there we've removed that cap. Do the same thing on the other side. And now we've removed both of these caps. We can then take a drill, back out the screw, and then drive it in just a little bit so that you don't lose those screws. So depending on how tight this filler panel here is, you might be able to just use your hands and try and wiggle it. You can see there, I just heard it move. If not, we're gonna have to get, oh, there we go. So if it doesn't come off nice and easy, then you get a flat scraper from behind and you just wedge it in between and pry that one there out. But now this one here is completely removed. We've got access to our carriers, which is up here, and there's another one right here. So I'll show you guys a bit of a close-up of the actual carriers. So you'll notice here on the carrier, there's a nut on top and there's a nut right down there on the bottom. Now this top one here is a locking nut, so this one here you need to loosen it over to the left using a nice flat spanner like this, which generally comes with the door, and there's usually a little bracket up on top here. So always check on top of your door. There's supposed to be a little bracket here that holds the actual key. However, a lot of people throw them out when the build is actually in progress and make everybody else's life hard. So if you haven't got one of these, try get a regular spanner, see if you can fit it in there, or needle nose pliers. You might have to get a little bit creative if you haven't got a flat spanner like this one here. They're actually very hard to get your hands on, so I've got a whole bunch of them saved in my toolboxes. But the way we remove this one here, so we'll start off with the top one, turn that one there over to the left. This one here is generally pretty loose, and all you want to do is just give yourself enough clearance there. So as we move the door up and down now, you can see there it's actually got clearance. So I'll just show you guys. So we've got clearance there to move that. And the way you adjust it is by simply loosening or tightening this bottom one here. So that's going to lift the door up by tightening it, and by loosening it, it'll drop the door down. So if you've got any discrepancy in the actual door, this one here, for example, we've got a gap right here. So we can either lift the back side up, or we can drop the front side down in order to bring that one there to sit it nice and square. Just depends on how much clearance you have on the base of your door, and also you want to have enough room to be able to adjust everything from up here, but we'll get into that a little bit later on. we've got that one there loose. We'll do the same thing on this side here. So turn that one there over to the left until we've got enough room. Alright, so now we've got those ones there done. What we can do now is lift the door and we'll move that carrier out of the way. So you can see there I've just lifted it off the actual carrier. We'll slide that one there out of the way. Same thing on the back, a little bit hard to do with only one hand. I might have to put the camera down, but there's actually a bit of wiggle room left and right. I'll try to do it while I'm still holding it and see how we go. Alright, so I've just pulled the door out. And if we have a look now, the door's pretty much out. That's the edge of it right there. So now if we pull this door completely out, that door is out now. So I'm going to quickly pull this one here out, get it all ready for my new door, and then I'll show you guys how to install the new door and how to adjust it. So now we've got our door ready. What we want to do is make sure that both of these guides here are towards the right, because the last thing you want is to knock one inside and then you have to use a broomstick to try and flick one back. So once you've got that, then you can take your door and you want to just slide it in on a bit of an angle. Now, all you want to focus on here is just getting that back end in first, and the rest will slide in slowly. So now that we've got this one here ready, I'll get my ladder, and what we're going to do is line up all of these lugs here, or the screws, back onto our brackets. So this part here is probably the most difficult out of the whole process, getting our little guides here, or our screw, back onto this bracket. Now on the back of this bracket here there's a slot, so the easiest way I can think of that I usually do is by using the little thin spanner, tilt the door up on a bit of an angle, push that one there back, line it up into the middle, and that one there is now in place. Now obviously we still need to make adjustments, but now that we've got this one here, we can do the same thing on our front side. And the front side we can actually lift up the door because we've got access to it, and push that one there in place as well. Alright, so now we've got both sides in, the door slides open and close. Now we're going to start working on our adjustments, and we also need to factor in the amount of spacing that's on the bottom of the door. So we've only got a little bit of clearance on the bottom of the door here, so I don't want to drop anything down. I'm going to lift it up to adjust everything. And if we have a look here, not sure if you guys can see there, but we've actually got a gap on the top right hand side. The bottom is completely hard up against the door jamb. So what that tells me is we can either drop this side here to get this to close up, but remember we wanted to keep our clearance on the bottom. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to focus on this left side here, and we're going to bring this side here up. The way you bring this one here up is, first of all, make sure your top locking screw is loose. There's plenty of clearance. Take your adjustable spanner here, and we're going to tighten this one here over to the right. As we tighten that screw, it starts lifting that door. Give it a couple turns and then go back to your door jamb and check and see how much more work you need. So here we still need a fair bit more. We'll keep going. Also, every time when you check your door jamb, check your clearance at the bottom of the door, because if you're starting to get too much clearance, which we are right now, what we're going to do is we're going to start bringing down the right side. So we'll turn this one here over to the left, and that'll bring this side of the door down. Check the door again. We're almost there. I might actually bring the camera back just a little bit more. Alright, so you can see there the gap's closing up now. Check that gap once again. Got plenty of space on this side here, so we're just going to keep backing this left side, right side here off, down to the left until it sits nice and plumb. So all your adjustments are made with the bottom of the screw. Probably one more turn. And that now is sitting perfect. So at this point here, we've got 100% perfect line up with the door jamb. Open the door and close it. Make sure that there's no rubbing or anything. Make sure you're happy with your clearance on the base of the door. Once you're happy with everything, you can take that little locking screw that's on the top, and we're going to tighten up that locking screw, and that'll prevent the adjustment from going out of whack again. So tighten that one there as much as possible. Same thing on this side here. Once again, open and close your door. That's sitting now perfect. Last thing you need to do is just simply put your filler panel back on. So the last thing to do is simply put the filler panel back on. Now for me, I'm going to be taking this one here back off anyway because I want to paint the door, but just to finish this video off, show you guys what it ends up looking like. Screw this one here back in. Try and line it up exactly where it was before. Then you can take those two little caps, they simply click back on, and once that's done, we've got our new door replaced. So that there is how to remove a sliding cavity door, how to install one, and how to adjust it. Hopefully this is the one video that you guys need to get everything sorted with regards to your sliding cavity door. Hopefully you've all enjoyed the video and you've learned something new. As always, like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, I'm Bill. Thanks for watching. Bill's out too.